To order. All stand for the invocation. Shelley, could you do roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mike Shambo?
Here.
Charlie Dutton?
Get through it. It's not just.
Here.
Juliet Dutton?
I don't really want to know.
Here. Sean Crittenden?
Here.
Joe Mears? Mike Dobbins?
Here.
Brandon Dutton? Greg Jordan? Darrell Legg?
Here.
Wes Bellflower? George Petchkowski? Here. Mary Baker Shaw?
Connie,
Theo Smith? Denise Taylor? Victoria Douglas?
I think you said my name, but I didn't hear you.
Because you were talking.
Yeah, I know. Actually, Sean was talking.
And
he did hit me with the
Don't blame it
gavel.
on your neighbor.
All right, everybody's had a chance to look over the minutes.
Motion to approve. Second.
All right, motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? All right, we got reports. We have Jennifer Kirby here. No, it's not it. Yeah, Jennifer.
she's here.
I'm on the wrong thing. Jennifer Kirby for Marshall Land. Can you hear me, Jennifer?
I can.
What do you got for us?
Well, first you have our report. Do you have any questions?
Does anybody have any questions for Jennifer? Mary?
hi, Jennifer. I was wondering, I just recently came to the realization that when we have a Cherokee citizen who's having great difficulties, and they need community services, and they need a place to live, and they need a job, that we don't have one person working on that. We have 3 different groups or different bodies of people trying to help. Would it, community services, like I said, housing, and then career. Would it not be easy or helpful to have just one person have a job that makes all those connections?
Well, it comes from different funding sources.
But could we not hire one person who could handle that and work with the individual departments, rather than have some poor lost soul simply say, I don't know if I have a job. Oh my God, I don't have a place to live. Oh my God, I have nowhere to get food. Oh my, we don't mean to hurt our citizens, we mean to help them. Would that not be more helpful if we hired one person who worked with the 3 groups to bring a positive result?
Well, I think that it's a lot for one person to handle.
It may be a
because
lot
we
for
do
one
have a lot
person,
of
but can you
homeless
imagine being
and
a
people
mother with 3
searching for
kids?
homes.
We call that person Rifle Kachi.
See, I think we could hire someone who would work with the 3 different groups and put the family through less stress. During a very difficult time for the family.
That's probably not a question for Jennifer, but she can take that back to her superiors, and maybe our chief of staff could answer that.
It's an excellent idea.
It is?
Came up with it and endorsed it.
It's okay.
So,
Well, I think.
Too much fun.
If we're gonna address that, I think it could be addressed at a different time with Marcia, but
Yeah.
also, there's a lot of different kind of problems. And for one person to be diversified enough to branch out in different directions would be very difficult. It would take.
That's not what I'm meaning. I'm meaning one person to work with each division rather than support, unfortunate family having to call people they don't know, then call this group people they don't know, then call. It'd be much easier to have one person just handle it.
Sure. Yeah, it's still gonna be difficult for one person to, because I know that if you're having that problem, and I have that problem too, and probably every councilman here has those calls, so it would be overwhelming. It would take more than one to do that, I'm sure. It really would. Chief of Staff, do you have something to add?
if I might share, years ago, there was a group that went around and did training to try and show a family member what poverty looked
Can't hear you,
like.
Todd.
We can't hear you. Could you?
Hollywood Square, turn that volume
Somebody's connected twice.
Jennifer, you need to turn your sound off, please.
I think she
Sound
left.
your computer.
Okay, so.
There you go.
Start over, please.
So two things I'd like to share with you in relation to that. It is a good idea. One of the things that we did many years ago was we did a situation analysis, and we did a mock of what it's like to be in poverty. And so we did a mock-up inside the community building. We took our employees in there, and we had scenarios, and people played roles. So one person was a caseworker for human services, and one was a caseworker inside of health, and one was a caseworker inside of career services. And they had a script they had to follow. And then we had people that played the citizens with kids, and then we had people that played kids. And so it was while they're trying to go get this service, the doctor calls in and says, oh, by the way, your child's sick, you got to come pick them up from school, and then lug them around and then try and get all those things done. So it was a pretty eye-opening experience of what a lot of our citizens that are struggling are going through. And the intent was to try and get people to think about ways that we can do that. The second part I'd like to share is there is a citizen who just text messaged me about 10 minutes ago that went through a variety of situations, needed services from one fire, needed services from human services, career services, about five or six different groups that this person needed assistance from. And it got referred to me in an evening. They needed firewood. And I was dismayed at the fact that this person hadn't received all of the services that it needed to. And we have a lot of employees that care. Every one of our citizens or employees care about the citizens, but a lot of times it's hard to see the forest for the trees. And so I think we could look at an opportunity to have client advocates or case advocates, case managers, to make sure that that stuff works through the system, as opposed to trying to jump through 5 different hoops. They jump through one hoop and somebody's advocating on their behalf, just like a patient advocate in a healthcare system, making sure that they get the correct treatment, they get the operation on the correct leg, and those things to make sure that the right things happen for that individual. So I think there is some opportunity for us to discuss that and make sure that we follow through on it.
Thank you.
Bet.
Thank you.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else? Sean?
Jennifer, hey, I appreciate you. I know we're getting, like Corey, we're getting it whittled down on these elder money, and I appreciate you answering my emails and getting back with me. And so, kind of, can you share where you're at, kind of on that as of now? The elder money.
She might be muted.
I think you're muted still.
Okay. Hang on one second.
Yeah, she's streaming it. So.
We're gonna see this Todd in her office.
Here it comes.
Okay, I think we got it figured out now. So we're cleaning up applications, just like Corey's group. We have some that have address issues. so we're trying to contact those people, and that, I'm not really sure the number on that side. We have some checks that have been sent out multiple times, and those are, we're trying to get a hold of those people as well to maybe possibly come and pick up the checks if they're close enough to want to come and pick up the checks. We have some that are on our other energy assistance programs that are also being sent out checks right now too. So we've got just a lot of little issues that are still out there that we're trying to clean up. I don't really have any definite answer on when those will be all sent out. I know the chief of staff has really been a big help. We have some that are on our other energy assistance programs that are also being sent out. And so, I mean, I don't know if you have any more specific questions. I mean, we've kind of just got a bunch of different batches here and there that we're trying to get cleaned up.
Hey, you're doing a great job. Like I say, appreciate you. When I send you one, you normally send it back kind of where it's at. I was going to say, if we can help you, kind of like the one today, I think it was you that said, hey, we got a bad address. I think now, each of us, if you could look on there, like if it's Jay or something, let Harley or Mike know, let me or Kana know if it's Stillwell or Westfield. I bet we could round some of those folks up and get them to you and help you that way. And there's some clothing vouchers still out there. Is that pretty much the same thing? We're kind of whittling them down, and but you guys at least got your head above water now. I mean, at this point, right?
Yeah, a lot of what's out there now, you know, there were some that on the clothing side, you know, we have to get all the documents back, especially anything as it relates to COVID impact. So we were just waiting to get those documents back. And so, yeah, it is a lot better than it was, but yeah, it's just a lot of little things like that we're kind of maybe trying to get a hold of people multiple times, and then trying to make sure that the documents get back to us in a timely manner, and then getting the cards issued out. So I think we still have maybe 2 more lists of applicants on the clothing side that we can get out. And trying to just clean those up.
You see the 150, Dora was alluding to this, I think last month. The extra 150 that kind of got in limbo, is that getting cleaned up too now, or cleaner? Because there's some, of course, they got what, 550 for tech plus clothes. Then they qualified for the other 150, and that. I know that was complicated, but is that on the mend as well?
Yeah, and we're also trying to identify those people who got confused by the process, because, I mean, it was a confusing process and kind of a lot of different layers to it, who didn't apply anything online. There are still some of those that we're trying to clean up and identify.
All right, and once again, just speaking for me, if you see that address is somewhere in Adair County, I bet me and Kana can help you round them up. So, thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else? And Jennifer, I'd like to offer the same thing. You know, I gave you guys a list too. Anybody on that list that you can't get a hold of, I'll be more than happy to do that. And I have 5 more to give you today. So I'll get with you. I'll just email you.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on to Community Services, Roads and Transportation. Michael Lynn, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Can you see me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon, Council. I'm going to start with my report on the Environmental Health and Water and Sanitation Department. They have finished finalizing their list of COVID relief fund projects and has submitted that to the treasurer's office. They've submitted 17 projects for the what's called the CRF, or COVID relief funds, across multiple counties across our 14 counties. So those projects are being worked on all in various stages, but have to be completed by December 30th, which they're working towards. Moving on to transportation, just to go through a few projects. I know you've got our monthly report, just to highlight a few projects. The Malloy Hollow project in Adair County is currently undergoing right-of-way acquisition phase. Approximately 90% of the property owners have been contacted, and acquisition meetings are being scheduled or conducted over telephones. The back up to Adair County, the Bell School road and bridge projects have been completed, and so we're awaiting final payments on the road project, but they are now completed. Cherokee County projects, Northeast Fort Gibson projects, approximately 70% complete. It is under construction currently, a little bit behind schedule, but the contractor is out working and trying to get it completed. The Holbert Lost City Road project is currently out to bid. The utility relocations were completed recently, and the bids are due back, and we'll have the bid opening scheduled for November 23rd, 2020. The Holbert Community Building parking lot and access road was recently completed in the past month. In our monthly report, you'll see a project highlight related to that project, and show some pictures and a little information on it, but it is now completed. Mud Valley Road project in Cherokee County is in the right-of-way acquisition, the right-of-way process, and we're in the appraisal phase. So appraisals are being conducted throughout the project so that we can begin the right-of-way acquisition phase. Just a few more projects. Craig County, a project called North-South 4340 Road, or also called White Oak Road. It's approximately 15 to 20% complete. It is currently under construction. The Chimney Rock Hollow Road in Maids County. This project was awarded to APAC Central recently. They have held their pre-construction meeting, and due to some environmental restrictions, they cannot begin clearing trees until today, actually November 16th. So we're working with the contractor on an official start date, but they couldn't start until after today anyhow, so we're still awaiting an official start date on that. I'll keep you apprised of that as information becomes available. And lastly, Mr. Chair, the Sequoia County projects, Dwight Mission Road, approximately 30 to 40% completed. It is under construction. With that, Mr. Chair, I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Now, are all these roads that you mentioned, were they brought to you by councilmen for their districts?
No, sir. These are the federally funded roads under the Tribal Transportation Program that I was referring to.
And what, how much basically are we spending in that program for these roads?
Oh, it varies from project to project. I mean, it depends on, I don't have that information right here in front of me, but I can get you some information if you've got specific projects you're wondering about. They usually range in, several $1 million for the construction.
That's gosh, you think about all the things that the Cherokee Nation does with our roads in this state and our counties. I mean, our state would be in somewhat bad shape without our help, and you guys have done a good job. Any questions? Harley?
Yes, Michael, since the revert decision has come down and we are a reservation town, what is the outlook now for the roads program as far as maintenance money and putting roads on the priority system?
I don't have a lot of information on that. Of course, that is all still evolving. I haven't heard anything about any additional maintenance funds coming down. As far as changing the way projects are prioritized within our system, I don't see that changing any of that at all. As far as process goes, we have a rating criteria that we go through, and then look at the different characteristics characteristics or aspects of each project before before they're put onto the prioritized for construction. And so I don't see that case changing any of that necessarily. Funding wise, again, I don't have a lot of information on that just because it is still evolving. But there could be some changes.
I guess the only thing that I could see maybe is as far as the prioritization goes, that now every road within our 14 county jurisdiction could be on a reservation, whereas before it wasn't. So it's something we may want to take a look at and see if we can put more road mileage on the IR system. That's where I'm getting at. Road mileage.
Okay, I misunderstood your question. I thought you were talking about prioritizing them for construction. As far as adding them to our inventory, I do think that will change there. You're exactly right. As far as the reservation status goes, it just reinforces the regs that state that the projects must be serving a reservation, and I think the regs also stated the former reservations in Oklahoma. So I just think it reinforces what the regs currently say.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
I have a comment, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Michael, on this, I guess is Willis Road, by our golf course,
Yes, sir.
that looks really good. The city was trying to claim that it was only their project, and they put it on Facebook, and then they took it back down. So the county commissioner called me and says, when you get time, Speaker, get with you and the appropriate people and said, let's do a photo op. So I'm gonna let you set that up. I mean, I think we need to give, we didn't fund the whole project, but we had input in it, okay? It really looks nice.
It turned out very well. I drove down it here just the other day. I don't know if you've seen it recently, but I believe they striped it last week.
Yes, they did.
Since they striped it, it does look very good. And I'm familiar with your comment on the Facebook post. As soon as I saw that, I called the county commissioner, and he got it addressed very, very quickly. I know we may not have funded all of it, but we funded a very high percentage of it. So we'll work to try to get something set up here in the future for a ribbon cutting.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Harley?
Yes, Michael, I know we used to put signs out on the road that they were cooperative projects with the county or state. Are we still doing that? I haven't seen some in my area, I know that, so.
We still have the signs. As far as I know, they're being passed out, but I will follow up and make sure.
Okay, I think we really need to do that, because what Chairman Shambaugh talked about a while ago, the $1 million that we contributed to the state, and we don't really see what we contributed from our motor fuels tax monies unless those signs are out there. So I think we need to go back to make sure we do that. So appreciate it.
Yes, I agree. Thank you.
Mary?
Michael, could you please tell me the road that comes from CCO, the building out there, coming into Tahlequah to the airport road? There's 1 million potholes on that road coming in. Are we going to do anything to fix that?
I believe, are you referring to State Highway 51?
Yes, I am.
That's going to be a state issue that we wouldn't have anything to do with. I'm not even 100% sure that's on our inventory. I'd have to look. It could be, but even if it was, it's certainly not prioritized for construction. But that's something that we could certainly visit with the state about, and we'd be glad to make that call to see if they've got any plans for that.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You bet.
Anybody else? Okay, let's move on to public comments, road issues. Michael, if you have something to say, you can, but if not, does anybody have any public comments on road issues? Michael?
I'm good, Mr. Chair. I'm good, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
All right, looks like that's it. Good job.
Thank you all.
All right, I saw his name, Gary Cooper.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and committee members. Hopefully y'all can hear me this time.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So, first I want to say thank you. It's been great working with all of y'all. I tried to talk to most of y'all. There was a few that I couldn't get a hold of. I apologize for that. I did try. But for the last 21 years and 9 months, I've had the pleasure to work for our housing programs at Cherokee Nation. And for the last 8.5 years, I've had the honor to lead the team of employees that we have over here at the Housing Authority. And I've had a lot of opportunities, and none of those have been as great, though, as serving our Cherokee people and working with the great tribal leaders that we have, with all of you, with Chief Hoskin, Deputy Chief Warner, and the team that they have together. And a lot of opportunities have come my way, and I've passed on every single one of them until now. There's been an opportunity that's presented itself that is just really hard to say no to. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to be leading the Housing Authority of the Cherokee Nation. It was a really difficult decision to make, but it was made a whole lot easier for me, knowing that the team that I have put together over here at the Housing Authority, that they are more than capable of moving forward with all of the great things we've put in place to come up with new ideas and new programs for housing. So December 5th is going to be my last official day here. Jerry Ann Killer, who is on the screen with us today, is going to be taking over as the interim executive director for the Housing Authority of the Cherokee Nation. Tomorrow, Jerry Ann is going to be sending you her contact information, so all of you all will have, and I will still be available to help you all and assist you all in any way up until December 5th. I know that the Housing Authority will be left in excellent hands with Jerry Ann and under her leadership. I think I was probably on the original hiring panel that interviewed and hired Jerry Ann all the way back in 2006. For the short period of time that housing was out at the nation, from 2008 to 2012, she worked over in Marcia shop. Marcia can vouch for her and has probably tried to steal her back on more than one occasion from me. But she was instrumental in help rebuilding the Housing Authority over here and came and joined my team back over at the Housing Authority in 2012. And I couldn't think of a better person who could help lead this organization. She has a background in not only housing, but also in social services, which is a big part of what we do. A lot of folks think that all we do is fix and build homes, and yes, we do that, but also a lot of what we do, a big part of what we do is social services. So it's important that we have someone who can do that. It wasn't planned this way, but I think it's the first time ever that a strong, dedicated Cherokee woman will lead the Housing Authority of the Cherokee Nation, and also that her team over here, whenever I leave, will have 3 of the 5 directors' positions filled by strong Cherokee women. So I think that says a lot for our tribe. I'm going to be moving to a different role for me, a new role for me, in HUD with the Office of Native American Programs of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. I have accepted a director level position there within the Office of Native American Programs, and I will become a career employee. I'm young enough that I still have a few years left in me, so I can go to work for the government and hopefully take some of the not only be a Native American serving in that office where you serve, but also take some experiences from out in Indian country, what actually happens out here in the field with the policies and the programs and things that happen to the office and to headquarters to hopefully provide some input on how Indian housing is delivered throughout the country. So I just want to say thank you to Chief Hoskin, Deputy Chief Warner, Speaker Byrd, Chairman Shambaugh, all of the members of the committee and the Tribal Council. I couldn't think of a better group of people to be working with and I could be better, think of a better person to lead this organization in the hands of whenever I leave than Jerry Ann Killer. So with that, I just want to say thank you. It's been great working with all of you all. And you all have our housing report, and I'll, of course, be happy to answer any questions that you have.
All right.
Hi, Gary. Gary, you're going to be deeply missed, and I hope you remember all the Cherokee communities in these other states that need HUD 184 housing, okay, with your new position. Because we've got them out there. Don't forget us.
No, I don't think you'll have to worry about that. Of course, I don't know exactly what all I can do, but I'll certainly push for and advocate for that. I mean, all housing programs are important for any Native American in any part of.
It is. Thank you.
As far as I'm concerned, all of the U.S. is Indian country, but that's just us talking.
I appreciate it, especially Kansas, Arkansas, Texas, you know what I'm talking about. I really appreciate it. Listen, I want to ask you a question.
What you're talking about.
My question today is about the application fee. For you to get housing with Cherokee Nation, you have evidently an application fee. How much is that fee?
Well, no, we don't have an application fee.
For housing?
No.
Okay, I apologize for that. I was just told on the phone 15 minutes ago probably that we did and that they couldn't afford it, so.
No, there is no type of application fee to apply for any type of housing assistance.
Okay.
That information that you got, and also I know that earlier there was some questions about working with different departments. I will tell you that we have a really great relationship here at the Housing Authority with Marcia and Jennifer and their team. We might require different applications, but we work together a lot. We'll get the information that one of us have already collected over to them so that they have. We try to, when we can, have one person to contact whoever it is that we're working with to kind of start the conversation and see kind of where we need to go, and then meet back and try to bridge the gap of whatever we have. So we do work together the best we can to make sure that folks aren't having to contact all of these different departments, just post-file them and try to facilitate those conversations.
I was aware you all did that, but you've always been my go-to contact, and you're really going to be missed by me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And Gary, just to reiterate that, I appreciate you taking my call the other day, and it ended up being a call for Billy Hicks, but you volunteered to take care of that, and you did. And you're right, you do that for us, and thank you very much. Sean.
Yeah. Hey Gary, been knowing you back since 2015. Butted heads a little earlier, but even in those times, you're tied for first about answering that phone.
Yes, sir.
Hey, getting back with me, getting back, and you done a good job, and I was glad to get to know you. So, thank you.
Janice?
Gary, I just had a question on the Housing, Jobs, and Sustainable Communities report that's in here. That is an update since the program began, correct?
I'm sorry, did what now? I didn't catch the last part.
Okay, that is an update for the entirety of that program, right? Since it began
Yes.
a year ago? Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
Anybody else?
Gary, just want to let you know that I know you'll help many more tribal people in the position that you will be in, and I want to thank and commend you for the years that you served us, because you always kept us at the forefront of the housing authorities throughout Indian country. We were always number one, I thought, and you were responsible for that with your knowledge of policies and procedures. Want to thank you. You won't be missed because we still have your phone number. But we wish you good luck, and I know you're going to be a attribute to wherever you're going to be. So appreciate you, Gary.
Well, and I know that I'll be seeing y'all around too. we'll see each other again, just in different roles and capacity.
Well, Gary, I'd like to say thank you too, just like Sean did. If I ever called you and you weren't there, you always called me back every single time. There wasn't one time where you didn't. You were very reliable. And you did do a good job for the nation. And we'll miss you, but we also want to congratulate Jerry Killer on being your replacement, and we all look forward to working with her too.
I know that she'll take good care of y'all. I mean, she is a very good person, and she will do good. She's been a part of the Housing Authority since we separated back out in 2012, and a lot of what I do, I wouldn't have been able to do without her help. And so I know that I'm leaving y'all in good hands, and that's probably the one thing that's made this decision a little bit easier.
Well, Jerry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, you want to say anything to the council? You want to tell us everything you know in 2 minutes?
Well, I know that I have big shoes to fill, and I know that I am up for the challenge, and I'm very excited to take on this challenge.
Well, good deal. Well, we're glad to have you, and look forward to working with you. And as soon as we get your contact information, we'll start bombing you.
I look forward to it.
All right. Thank you very much. Anybody else has anything? All right. Thank you, too. Commerce Housing Report. Was it Shay?
It is. Hi. Thank you for having me this afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you all hear me?
Yep, we can see you, too. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Well, I just wanted to let you know we've been pretty busy over here. You have a copy of our report with just the general information that we provide every month. But a couple of things I wanted to address are, Councilor Shaw, the issues your citizens face or your constituents face are the same issues all of our citizens face. And so through the Financial Empowerment Program here in Commerce Services, that's one of the things we aim to do is we try to be the advocate for those individuals who are living in housing authority assisted housing. So those people in low rent apartments, those people in the new construction programs, anything that's housing authority assisted, we try to be the go-between for those individuals. We can't necessarily accept the applications for human services. We can't do all the legwork, but what we can do is make those connections when we find out that there's an issue that a citizen is facing. So if you have anyone in housing authority assisted housing that's facing any kind of problems at all, whether it just be they need assistance with filing taxes, they need assistance with attending VOTEC, they need assistance with a loan, they're having some financial troubles, health issues, we can make those connections so that they're not left calling 10 different departments at the Cherokee Nation explaining their issue or their problem over and over and over again. So please refer those clients to us. We are happy to assist them. We've got the staff who's ready and willing always to do that kind of work. So just wanted to address that from the beginning. The other thing is our staff has been really busy over the last few weeks contacting residents of the Housing Authority, letting them know that if they haven't received their economic stimulus payment yet, for whatever reason, or if they didn't receive the entire economic stimulus payment, so if they maybe have youth who live with them that they have custody of, and maybe they didn't receive the additional $500 for individuals who are under 17 years old. We've been contacting those people, letting them know that they have until November 21st to file online for that stimulus payment. We also were making phone calls as quickly as we possibly could to help elderly and disabled residents file for the Cherokee Nation assistance as well. So other than that, I believe Anna mentioned to you at the last meeting that we have updated the mortgage assistance program policies. I just want to remind you all of that. If you have people who are interested in home ownership who have previously applied but for some reason or another were denied, they weren't eligible at the time, please ask them to reapply, ask them to give us a call. We can look up to find out why they were denied and let them know whether or not the piece of the policy that made them ineligible has been changed so that they may now be eligible. We've really opened up the policy so that we can serve more individuals, and we've also made it a little easier for some individuals to participate. So other than that, I'd be happy to address any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Shay? Sean?
Yeah, Jay, thank you guys. I've been calling you all pretty regular here lately, but the stimulus package, I just wanted to be clear. that you were talking about at first, that's the federal government, right?
That is correct. The $1,200 payment, yes.
All right, well, thank you.
Yes.
Harlan?
Yeah, Shay, I just want to say thank you to the staff members that worked on the grant for our industrial park there in Jay. It seemed like it come through, so we very appreciate it if you send the thanks on to whoever worked on that.
Absolutely.
Anyone else? Shay, that was a good report. I guess we don't have any more questions. You have a good evening.
All right, thank you.
All right, old business, none pending, new business, none pending. Are there any announcements? All right, the next meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, December 14th at 4 p.m. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
All right, we're done.